One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday, and happy 4th of July for all of you who live in the United States, celebrating Independence Day. And some people got started last night. I'm not sure how many of you in the United States got any sleep last night or will get any tonight. And certainly our pets didn't. I know all the wildlife in my backyard. I've not seen anybody this morning. There are a lot of little animals and critters probably hunkering down for the big weekend, but celebrating freedom. And we're going to talk a little bit about freedom today. What a huge subject it is. So we're going to break down freedom and soul expression over the next 4 weeks throughout the month of July, and different aspects of soul qualities that help support our experience of true freedom on planet Earth in these beautiful human forms with the multiple layers of consciousness that make up humanity. At our best, we feel freedom when we're able to express how we truly feel. And when it's tempered with kindness, there's an aspect of that. And getting deeper into meditation, we start, again, bringing out these soul qualities that we'll talk about throughout the month. So thank you for being with us this morning. You had the freedom to be anywhere you wanted to be, virtually or in person. And thanks for choosing to be with us. So this morning, as every SoulCall Sunday begins, we start with a practice called Qigong, which is energy, and just moving and participating with, directing our will, having the freedom to choose to direct our will, to participate with bringing more of that life force energy, the cosmic intelligence into the cells of our being, the things we can't really see, but that in fact power and enable me to talk like I do with my hands. So we welcome this morning Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz for our practice with Qigong.
We continue with opening our inner connection, our inner lighthouse, through our Qigong practice. So please sit in a healing, comfortable healing posture for yourself, or you can stand if you'd like. Now, look forward, stretching the vision all the way to the horizon into infinite space. From there, seek the warmth and light. Gather all the healing chi, love, good information, wisdom, and pull it back into the center of the head, and very gently, naturally, close the eyes. Tuck in the chin, connecting with the neck to open the throat so a huge channel opens deep inside. Now relax the hands to both sides and slowly lift the elbows up. Lift the shoulders up, up, arms relaxed, up. Shoulders moving up, almost as close as you can to touching the ears. Keep the chin tucked in. The chi is moving up, up, up. Now slowly, gently relax the shoulders as we sink, relax, shrink into the core of the earth, and continue sinking, shrinking into the core of the universe. Becoming one with all things. Now very gently bring the hands up in front of the face turn the palms inward. And begin moving the fingers, moving the palms, focusing on the moving palms and fingers. Now merge with the mind's home, massaging, opening. Deep inside, our inner essence, gently massaging, opening, transforming. Deep inside, massaging, opening, and gradually stop the movement, then turn the hands facing each other, bringing the palms together, lower into praying hands position, and very gently feeling the joy inside, waking up. Slowly open the eyes. Enjoy.
Thank you, beautiful Deborah. It's always such a powerful practice. And last week we got to do that in person for everyone who joined us in Upper Arlington Park for our Art in the Park weekend. It was an amazing, beautiful day, and so many people showed up and created tiles and painted rocks, and we ate some food and just had a great time. So we're going to do that again sometime soon, sometime in August. But it was great to have Helen Yee took us under the trees out in the park. It was just this beautiful breeze and practicing Qigong. And oh man, it was amazing. So more in the future. It's really a powerful practice to do together and individually. So during the Writing as a Path to Awakening class, some of you joined us for the Story Slam event, where the writers who participated in that class with Reverend Christy Hardwick shared some of their writings. And this one was such a gift from Bob Lippitz on America. And it was a prompt that prompted him to write Dear America. And this is what he shared, and we thought it would be so special to share it with all of you today on the 4th of July. Welcome, Bob Lippitz, and his writing called Dear America.
Dear America, a love letter. Paint for me a landscape of the Taoist sun on canyon walls, of moss-covered rocks in West Virginian mountain streams, rain squalls on a great lake stretching beyond the horizon, Iowa cornfields knee-high by the 4th of July. Send me postcards of gator wrestling, the Chicago skyline over Lake Michigan, the Golden Gate Bridge in fog, Holland, Michigan in tulip bloom. Order me a stacked corned beef on rye at Katzinger's, a coney dog at the ballpark, Cincinnati 7-way chili at Skyline, hot buttered corn and apple pie a la mode at the State Fair. Look for me at the flashing slots in Vegas, under the marquee lights on Broadway, on a tour bus of the homes of the stars, catching a smoke outside the Bottom Line, the jive of a saxophone filtering from inside. I'm riding a saddled pinto on the high plains, looking for long-tailed strays. In the dust-covered cab of a John Deere harvesting beans, loading lumber into the beat-up bed of a Ford pickup. In the family minivan, dropping the girls off at the mall to hang out at the megaplex. I hear your rhythms straight out of Africa, the hot southern sun sweating out 12-bar blues, cigarette smoke and a muted trumpet in a jazz club. A barefoot girl on a porch with a dulcimer on her lap. The guitar player in a cowboy hat singing a ballad of lonely nights. I am your son, America. My mother speaking Spanish, Italian, Yiddish, and Chinese, serving big bowls of noodles from the old family recipe, giant helpings of love from my grandmothers, saying blessings of protection and grace. You, the inventor of assembly lines and personal computers, cell phones, television, and social media, your cities and factories illuminated by Edison's invention. I watch your rockets, contrails racing into space, leaving footprints on the moon. America, you big messy family, elbowing for seats at the table, shouting over each other. I delight in your cacophonous growl, your brash energy, your breakneck pursuit of opportunity. This is the America I know and love. You cannot be denied. Your great experiment and collaboration continues undeterred by liars and swindlers. For you are the great engine of industry and enterprise. Your fire stoked by the fuel of relentless dreams, a cauldron blending myriad tongues and colors into a brash, strutting, unstoppable parade. I march with you, my fellow Americans, down the streets of dreams, the boulevards of hope, to the promise of tomorrow.
How wonderful. Amazing. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, Reverend Christy, for teaching that class, which is going to be an ongoing one. You can find out more about that class at soulcallglobal.org/events. Yeah, he's an amazing writer. Thank you. And now we're just going to sink into the talk this morning is on freedom. First, we're going to start with a song about reflection. And I'll talk a little bit about how reflection leads to that inner freedom, the true freedom of the soul.
I am just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life. We are all just drops within a stream flowing towards an ocean of light. We may forget where we come from. We may forget where we're going to. I might not see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. I am just a seed, a blessed seed with eternity unfolding in me. And I pray that as I grow, I will reveal the love that illuminates my soul. When I remember where we come from, when I remember where we're going to, then I can see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is
May I tap into the vast intelligence that spins an elaborate symphony from the breathless encounter of two cells. Two cells becoming 4, becoming 8, becoming 16, 32, 64, becoming spine, heart, lungs, fingernails, and eyelashes. I welcome the effortlessness of gravity, the power of the connection between a raindrop and thirsty ground, a mother and her newborn child. May I know my true north and navigate with the certainty of wild geese, the confidence of salmon returning home. And returning home, may I reveal the same unabashed and authentic hue as the tulip expresses its tulipness, the tiger its tigerness. So I simply exhale, knowing that in this fractal wave of time, every moment is a gift with which to align and express the infinite, the infinite, the infinite divine.
This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite.
Ooh, just operating from that sacred center, the seat of the soul, where we can in fact become that reflection of the infinite one. And I'd like to start this talk off with one of my favorite quotes that I believe I found in a book called The Artist's Way, which I would very much like to teach this year at some point, because it had such a profound effect. The cause was I sat down and I started to do the thing. And the result of that was this uncovering of the desires that were just kind of latent but not necessary in my evolution of consciousness. These were things that were maybe heaped on as a process of experiencing life with the people in my inner circle from the time I was this age to that age, and then other people from this age to that age. And we just take these things on until we become aware that we're doing these things, if and when we become awakened and aware. And may this simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite. This quote is by Gita Bellin, and it's, there are always risks in freedom. There are always risks in freedom. The only risk in bondage is that of breaking free. When you think about this, it reminds me of something quite hilarious. When I read it, the first thing I thought about was this little dog named Chipper, who was the pet of a friend of mine. And sometimes I would be visiting my friend when remember the paper boys and girls? Remember when children used to come to your door and like put paper in it? Or actually bring, and instead of somebody pulling up to the sidewalk and throwing it from a car, or just getting it online now. But anyway, the paper boy, in this case, it was a little boy, would come over to the house, and every time this child would come to the house, Chipper would just flip out. The dog was the coolest, tamest dog ever, but somehow, I don't know if it's just in the DNA of dogs to bark at paper boys. I don't know. And he would run to the door, and as if he was going to do something to this person, but he would never have done it. Then we would get the paper, and then Chippy would go back in and just lie down. Well, one day, Chipper runs to the door, same thing. The newspaper carrier comes to the door, rings the bell to get, collect for the week. And Chippy just runs up, dives at the door, and ends up going through the screen and lands on the porch. The only risk in bondage is that of breaking free. But then what do you do once you get there? He didn't know what to do because, in fact, he had no desire to bite the kid. But he didn't know what to do with his newfound freedom and the opportunity to do the thing that he thought he wanted to do this whole time. So he just kind of stood there with this look like, I just went through the screen, and the poor kid was terrified. And I just picked up the dog and brought him back in. But he sat there kind of confused, as we all were, for a few minutes. Like, he finally broke free but didn't know what to do. Did you ever have that feeling where you finally got yourself free from a thing, and only to realize that we had this idea of, maybe like you, I've had this idea, like, if I could get away from this person or this situation, I will be free and it'll be so much better. But you recognize that actually the thing that was the problem was something that was wrong with my thinking. I was part of the problem. Sometimes it is a situation that we want to get ourselves free from, which requires great, great courage. We're going to talk more about courage in a couple of weeks. Next week, Reverend Christie's up. But in 2 weeks, we'll talk about courage and how it takes great courage to enjoy freedom, or to get ourselves free from a situation, to dance with the unknown. Sometimes, we stay in a situation because we know what the situation is, but the courage to break free into the unknown, a whole bunch of other things, it requires deep intention of knowing that we're connected to the source of all of it, that will take care of our needs, even before we know what they are. We'll be led to a person, a place, or a thing, or a situation that will help support us in our good and rightful duties of soul exploration and connecting with infinite source. Doesn't mean it's always easy. I think in teaching, I'm realizing more and more of us have a similar experience where we have this idea of, once we're spiritual or once we're enlightened, there'll be no more challenges. No, wouldn't that be great though? That would be kind of awesome. The thing that shifts is how we respond and how we participate with challenge. We are the ones that change. We don't change the world. The world does not change for us. We change ourselves, and therefore the world around us shifts. Our experience shifts, our freedoms. I was listening to a talk by Brother Chidananda. He was talking about, from Self-Realization Fellowship, he was talking about freedom. And one of the things he was sharing was like this idea, maybe this resonates with you. We could think we're getting away from maybe ice cream. Maybe we just want to keep eating copious amounts of ice cream. And we could get ourselves as far away from ice cream. We could put ourselves atop the mountains, like the Himalayan or the Himalayas, however you say it, up at the top of the mountain, as far away from ice cream. You're sitting around ice, but as far away from ice cream as possible. But if you're sitting at the top of the mountain thinking about ice cream, are you still free? Or are you as free as the human who can say, I don't want to eat ice cream anymore, and can go to a party that's being held at an ice cream parlor and walk in and have no desire to eat ice cream? Like, I really am free from the desire to eat ice cream. Think about the desires you have. And desires can be endless. Even if we have the desire for desirelessness, that's a desire too. And desirelessness is not non-attachment. I think sometimes there's this idea that desirelessness is different than, it being detached, as in a way of like muting a feeling. It's actually not having the feeling at all. It's being in a neutral zone, participating fully with spirit 100% of the times. For example, sleep is all right, no sleep is all right. Eating is all right, no eating is all right. Just getting with, my plane takes off on time, it doesn't take off on time. Knowing that there's a bigger cosmic situation happening. What I'm not saying is don't eat and don't sleep. I'm just saying you can all come to a time where we had to have we had to just get over the top of an idea or something presented that we didn't plan for. It's like planning. My father used to say this to me, When I used to plan events around the world and music direct, I would always have a plan A, B, C, and D. I could plan for everything that I knew could possibly happen because I'd been performing and planning events for decades. So I had an idea of what I'd seen before. But every once in a while, my father would say to me, be prepared for the worst. And it wasn't that he wasn't a confident person. It was just he'd seen a lot of things go, off the tracks sometimes. But I would plan for the worst and expect really the best. So if I knew that I had a plan for all these possible things that could possibly go wrong or off the mark, I could open more readily to prepare for whatever the infinite wanted to have happen in that moment, for whatever reason. Things that I can't see or don't have linear understanding of why this just couldn't work out the way we planned. There was something else at play. And sometimes, it's those things that are so different that make them most memorable. So opening up to the possibility that challenge is somehow for us. We don't invite challenge all the time. Like, I want this to be the most challenging day of my life. I don't know anybody that says that, but we could say something like, today will be the best day of my life. This day I will start with a new determination to dedicate my devotion forever at thy feet of omnipresence. When I start my day with that affirmation, I feel like I'm arming myself with the realization of, I love you and I don't know. That's one of the things I say a lot. So like these steps toward freedom, let's just start with a couple things that I know I've used to allow myself to explore this inner world, this introspection. So we are, humans experience existence on several different levels, but we'll just talk about the three most commonly talked about or recognized. And there are degrees within each of these levels, but there's the astral, the causal, and the physical. Most of us are dealing with the physical realms of life and existence on the planet. Like, how do I get my needs met, my desires? So I thought it would be interesting if we just broke it down in just a few steps for the week. Maybe we can start practicing this. One is be careful what you think. So step number one, pay attention to what the thoughts are. Natalia and I do the way the thoughts. I was thinking I could be another Lincoln. You all know the rest of the song. So pay attention to the thoughts we think, because thoughts are things. Thoughts are things, but thoughts are prayers also. When we think, so if we're sitting at the top of the mountain, the Himalayas, and we're thinking about ice cream, we're still attached to ice cream. We have ice cream consciousness instead of God consciousness. Whatever the thing, you could say, I'm done with that. You walk away from it and all we do is think about it. We're not really done until we stop it on all levels. So paying attention to what we think at a time. And in order to pay attention to what we think is putting something on pause. Pay attention to what we think, just carefully, instead of reacting to something, put it on pause so we can carefully respond in a way that creates a new pattern of energy, a new wave. Number two, okay, so we're going to pay attention to our thoughts. And then number two would be this old adage of look before you leap. Remember that one? Don't just dive into it. Think about it before you take that step. What is this going to be? And if there are things that you can realize are going to happen immediately, are these things for me? Are they helping my spiritual evolution? Are they helping me to bring forth that reflection of pure consciousness? Or am I creating a lens that's going to, put an impress over my pure reflection of my soul? Like, what is going to happen next? And then analyze the difference between needs and desires. So we as human beings, we do have basic needs for food, for sleep, for shelter. Those are needs. And then from there, what kinds of things do we need to eat? How much? What does our house need to look like? Have whatever you'd like, but let's just recognize there's a difference between needs and desires, because desires are endless. And they don't give us that lasting happiness that the bliss of the soul can. And just a really beautiful, deep meditation, we can really feel the bliss of the soul that is lasting. So analyzing those three things, those 1, 2, 3 are steps, our thoughts and desires from true needs. And then step 4 is something I started doing a while ago, and I think I started when I was a child, because I had to do this with my parents. And this one is step 4 is think at least 3 steps ahead. If I do this thing, what kind of wheels am I setting into motion? Try to think the next 3 steps. All right, so like if it's to go to the party or not. All right, we go to the party, we do this. This one will probably be there, that one will be there. That's fine. Or I go to this performance. You can do this in a visualization too. I show up at the performance venue. I open up to the infinite. I sing my heart out, and the place is transformed, and so am I. Those are 3 steps ahead. But 3 steps ahead, when I said I started it when I was a kid, my parents, before I could even ask for the car or to go someplace, when you're young and teenager and you want to take the car or you want to go to a party, my mom would always have lots of questions. So I had to prepare. I always had to be 3 steps ahead of them. So this has served me well. What are they going to ask me, and how am I going to respond? My father's would be, before we could even ask for the car when we were kids, we had to have washed it and in some cases waxed it before we could even ask, because he knew we had some kind of an investment in it, that we cared about this thing as much, or at least a little bit, as he did. So we were invested in the family car and recognized it didn't just belong to us. So thinking a couple steps ahead, is doing this thing going to give me the desired result? It's going to take me closer or move me further away. And that's always a really good one. And so analyze your current state. Analyze your current state. Where are you right now? And what do you really need to help progress your soul's calling? I'm going to invite you to incorporate some kind of an introspection practice, whether it be meditation or journaling. And I was talking about The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. What a fantastic book. And I think I am going to teach this class. Maybe Natalia will jump in with me. We could teach it together. But it's a way of just analyzing what is happening inside. There's a way we get into the subconscious mind of things we don't even realize are working in the energy field of who and what we are. And so Yogananda says, don't play with the storms of desires. Desires are endless. Get away from desires. He tells this great story of a person who is a saint, and he went to the ashram. And in the ashram, there wasn't much, but he thought his idea of going to the ashram would be to just be able to just sit and think about God and meditate, 24/7. But there was work that needed to be done there too. To be there, you had to, help sweep or clean, or there were things that needed to be done. There were jobs to keep the place up. So he said, I'm going to leave the ashram. I'm out of here because it's just too much work. I just want to be with God. So his master said, fine, not master over him. When they say master, it's one who has mastered themselves. So it wasn't like that. So his teacher said, go ahead. So first thing he took like a bowl and an extra loincloth. And he goes to sleep one night and he wakes up to realize that a little mouse had started to chew away at the loincloth. So he's like, oh my gosh. So he goes to the villagers. He was considered a saint. And he goes to the villagers and he said, there's a mouse munching at my loincloth. So one of the villagers said, that's simple, Master. Why don't you keep a cat? He said, I have a cat. I'll give you a cat. So now he's got a cat that he needs to take care of so that his loincloth, the other one, doesn't get munched. But every day he had to go to the village to get milk for the cat. So he said to the villagers, I'm not sure about this. Now I have to try to find milk every day for this cat. And another villager said, great sage, I have a cow. I'll give you a cow and you could have all the milk you want. So he said, that's a good idea. So he takes the cow. So now the cow produces the milk for the cat. But now he has to figure out how's he going to keep this cow fed? So another person said, I have some land you can have some land, you can put your cow on it. And so now he has land, and he's tending to the land to make sure that the cow can eat, so that the cow can produce milk for the cat that can keep the cat alive so that the mice don't. And all of a sudden, his master comes and just looks at him and keeps walking. And he said to the villagers, this sage goes back to the villagers, and he said, now I've got, oh my gosh, I've got all this land. I can't take care of it myself. And one of the villagers said, you know what? You should have a family. Let's make an arrangement for you to meet some people, and maybe you can get married and have kids. And well, that's a good idea. So he's back on his property contemplating, this is a bad idea. I don't think. Then his master comes back and he said to him, what's going on? And he said, I am about to get married so that I'll have some help to take care of my land, to take care of the cow, to take care of the milk for the cat. And he said, but I thought you would renounce the hermitage because it was too much work. And he said, this is all for a rag. He realized all of this was about a loincloth. And he renounced all of that and went back to the hermitage. So the moral of that story is, if you think renouncing the world is going to keep us free from all these responsibilities that we think keep us not able to meditate or do the work of consciousness. In fact, even in an ashram, there's work. So find some place today to have the courage, to have the freedom to do the things that are God reminding. And desires are endless. And one thing to remember is to let go of ultimate freedom is freedom of mind. And one of the quotes I love is, finite cause cannot produce infinite effect. Finite cause, this is from Yogananda in one of his books. Finite cause cannot produce infinite effect. Meaning, if you did something yesterday that maybe we're not so proud of, it doesn't run on into infinity. Learn from it, forget it. Allow yourself to be free from whatever it is that might be a nagging situation, something that maybe we missed the mark on. That's a finite cause. It does not equate to an infinite effect. Nothing does. The only thing that does that is pure love. Love sets off an infinite chain of love in motion. But these things that we do in this world of cause and effect, they are limited to the world of cause and effect. And physics tells us that for every cause, there's an equal and opposite effect. For every action, equal and opposite reaction. So just remember, when we think we're getting too caught up in the world, there's no time for meditation or your spiritual practice. Choose the freedom from these desires and the things that pull us out into the world. The ego makes us think we're missing something, but the soul reminds us that in meditation, we have infinity. We can experience everything in an instant. We can experience everything in an instant. So steps, be careful what you think, because you keep putting it into motion. So, check your thoughts, look before you leap, think about what you're going to get yourself into, analyze your true needs from your desires, which will help with the look before you leap, and think at least 3 steps ahead. If I do this thing, what's going to happen? And remember that finite cause cannot produce infinite effect. And allow yourself to just be free. Be free in your loving. Be unconditionally loving is the most free thing we possess and can do. And watch how it transforms that energy field around you and what comes in. So have the courage to be free. Allow yourself to step out from the bondage, the finite thing that you might have been pulling with you for infinity. Let it go. I have a friend who says, I got one word for that. It's let go. So just think about the joy of releasing things that no longer serve us, that never have. And allow yourself to become that perfect reflection of the soul, which is mostly who we are. Here's a beautiful song. It's done by Nataya's recorded it for us. It's called Freedom, and it's at seeker7.com.
What if freedom's knowing that true love never dies? Freedom is the peace that fills me when I sit with closed eyes, leaning into darkness to truly know the light. Freedom's the peace that fills me with closed eyes. What if independence is calling on your friends, the ones that you depend on to be there till the end, knowing that you're not alone when the dark descends? What if freedom's calling on your friends? We all fail until everybody wins. There's no fear. It's not that it's thin, it's just not there. There's no separate but equal. We're all precious people. What if liberation is retiring the myth that 7 billion different paths can't be the way it is? The way to live together is to coexist. Liberation is retiring the myth. We all fail until everybody wins. There's no fail. It's not that it's thin, it's just not there. There's no separate but equal. We're all precious people. We all fail until everybody wins. There's no fear. It's not that it's thin, it's just not there. There's no separate but equal. We're all precious people. We're all precious. We're all precious people.
Yeah, beautiful video and song, Natalia. Thank you. And so just get out there and be your soul. Listen to your soul's calling and experience that true freedom, When all the walls are down, who are we then without any definition? And just run wild with the idea of you in participation with spirit. You can't fall out of the gaze of the Divine Mother. It's impossible. So just know, she's got her eye on you and her heart on you. It's really funny. It's kind of like falling out of the gaze of my mom. In our backyard, there was this kitchen window. She could see the whole yard from that. And if something was getting, kicking up outside, all of a sudden you'd hear the kitchen window would slide open and you hear this whistle, and you would listen to see whose name got called to just like come in for a second. It was hilarious when I think about it now, but like the eye in the sky. Joyce sent me a rock, a stone she found. It's in the other room, but it's hilarious. When we start talking about these things, they just float into us. So think about what you would like to have float into your world and think those things. So give gratitude for the things you're happy for and grateful for, and watch how your life gets more of that. So run wild with the idea of you and the calling of your soul. So thank you for joining us this morning. We're starting a new thing in July here because we have our group, our community, our conscious global community, Open at the Heart, is growing. And I want to take a moment to give a shout out to some people who are very instrumental in the success of SoulCall, who are celebrating birthdays this week. So Michelle Fott, happy birthday, Michelle Fott. Dina Bobby was last week, and coming up on Tuesday, our Qigong master Helen Yi. Happy birthday, Helen. And Janice was last week. Janice Whipple was last week. So I'm not going to call everybody out by first and last name all the time, so don't get freaked out. But I just want to say thank you to our SoulCall family and happy birthday. So grateful that you are with us. Also, from 11 to 11:30, we welcome you to join me for SoulCall Global Sunday Rewind. And you can go to soulcallglobal.org and click on the link to get the actual link to come into the Zoom room. We could talk more about freedom and where we're going to go with this concept throughout the month. Thank you so much for your donations. There's no amount that's too big or too small. We are currently looking for our own home, our Center for Contemplation and Meditation. So we welcome your contributions. People are getting creative with contributions and donations. Thank you, Helen Yee, for donating. You're creating a birthday donation in the name of SoulCall. Thank you for that. What a great idea. And if you want to do the same thing, create a gift for SoulCall with your birthday, that's amazing. Thank you. And yes. But we are getting ready for our back to school drive. We're going to support some families who are in need of items to help their children get back to school. So your donations are going to go toward that. And we thank you for that. So donations, soulcallglobal.org/donate. And thank you. If you're in need of prayer, we are humbled and honored when we receive prayer requests. And we thank you for allowing us to pray with you and for you. Jean's been doing an amazing job with our prayer team. So prayers at soulcallglobal.org. Prayers at soulcallglobal.org. We thank you for allowing us to do that. Starting July 13th, I am so excited to share one of the most inspiring genius friends I've had the pleasure of meeting in my travels. Kara Armstrong is going to offer a 4-week class called Inspiring Voices, Generative Poetry. It starts Tuesday, July 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern. There's more information on the website, but the 4th week, so you'll create poetry the first 3 weeks. And then the 4th week, if you can't be in the class, we're going to invite you to come in and partake of the Poetry Slam, much like we did with the Story Slam. And Carol will offer, I think it'll be $5 or something to get a gallery seat to the Poetry Slam. But Carol will offer just a little glimpse into the prompts that the poets used to write these poems so that you could see how the poetry you're about to hear came to be, and you can take it home and practice it. So it'll be a really valuable opportunity for you, if you miss the class, to join us on the 4th week. But please sign up for that class. There are still some spots left, and share that with your friends. It's going to be really an amazing opportunity. And also like us on Facebook, soulcallglobal.org. Share us with your friends, please. And sign up for the newsletter so you'll know what we're up to, which is a lot. There's always something happening with SoulCall Global. And if you have ideas for how we can help spread the word, or you would like to start a soul squad in your community, let us know. Let us know. And let's see. Monday, it's just a meditation Monday is our little theme song. Every Monday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, we offer a silent meditation practice. We'll do an information process at the very beginning, just to give you some ideas of how to go into deep meditation. But then we really meditate deeply as a group. People are really experiencing the transformative qualities of group meditation on Monday nights. So you'll have to register at soulcallglobal.org/events and classes. You'll register for the link to come into the Zoom room to practice silent meditation. Powerful practice, and we invite you to join us. Let's see. What else? I think that's it for now. We're going to alert you to the movie. A lot of you have been asking about the movie Radiance with Dorothy Fadiman, who was our guest 2 weeks ago. Sometime in July, we're going to have a date where we're going to send you to the link to watch it on Dorothy's website, but then we're going to have Dorothy do a live question and answer about the film and maybe some other films. You can go watch that at concentric.org, Radiance, concentric.org, and we'll let you know when we have Dorothy available to come into a Zoom room with us to do a question and an answer. So that's what's happening here. Happy 4th of July. Have a really safe, beautiful holiday, everyone. And know, wherever you are on the planet, you are loved. Peace and blessings.
One family, one people, one planet, one love, one